Well, welcome to You've only come to hear United. Looking back on the game against West Ham, so that was an experience. You know when you play lower league teams and the commentator says you can't, they've missed a hatful of, they missed a really good early chance. The commentator says you can't miss chances like that at this level. It's like somebody said that to us and we just went challenge accepted, and we just kept missing chance after chance after chance. And you kind of look at, I think everybody must have been watching that going, this is going to come back and haunt us. And West Ham are one of the poorest teams I've seen us play against this season in that first half. You probably got Southampton and obviously Barnsley, but definitely then it'd be that West Ham team in the first half. They were so obliging. They let us in time and time again, and how we didn't punish them. I mean, I thought we actually played pretty well overall. That was the crazy thing. For an away performance in the Premier League, there aren't too many times, especially in that first half, where we've really put somebody to the sword, regardless of how poor they were. Maybe it would have been a bit different if they come out against us in the first half, because that's where we've struggled in the past. Another weekend, we're winning that 3-4-1 quite easily. Garnacho hitting the bar early on. You give him that one, first chance of the game. He's not too far off. He should have scored, but fair enough. His second one, he really should have done better. You've got to hit the target at least when he's cutting in from that left hand side and curling it. For him, he can be a very good finisher, and to miss that was inexcusable. To at least not get it on target. But talking of inexcusable, well, actually bordering on criminal was Dalot's chance. Once he's flicked it over past the keeper, he's missed an open goal. That's what it comes down to. He's missed an open goal, and then you're thinking, this really is going to be one of those days. It's been one of those seasons so far. Hoyland had a decent sort of swivel in the box, didn't he? And another chance and other chances sort of came and went to different degrees as well. But you look at, how it was 0-0 going into that break it's just ludicrous. It really is. So yeah, West Ham's first goal, it was scruffy really, but it was one of those things that happens. It was a miscue from Ings and it found their man at the back post. I'm sure you can pick it apart and you can find people should have been doing their jobs a little bit better, but that can happen. It was a skewed shot. Somebody came in at the back post. No one's really expecting that to happen. Somerville was great for West Ham when he came on. He caused us a lot of problems and he really got them going to some degree. I mean, they couldn't have been much worse than the first half, but maybe we became a bit passive in the second half. But even so, we were still creating, some chances, even though it wasn't quite as much as the first half. Casemiro's equaliser was good. It's what he does. We've seen him get those headers in the box, for us from short range a number of times. Another assist for Xerxes was a positive too, that he's finding ways to contribute to the game when he has faced a fair bit of criticism in recent weeks. He set up Ericsson on Thursday as well, so it's nice to see that if he's not putting the ball in the back of the net, he's finding ways to at least set people up and tee people up. And it was a nice little header to Casemiro, flicked header to Casemiro for the equaliser. And then the penalty decision, which it's one of the worst penalty decisions I've seen. Not necessarily for the incident itself. I didn't think there was enough in it. You've seen him given for that. And if the referee gives it after it's happened, then they can probably lean on the fact that it's not clear and obvious to overturn it, which is something they have lent on in the past. But when you've not given it, it's not clear and obvious to give it. That combined with the handball. I know in the end they decided that the handball had happened after the contact. That's what we were told. And it's bull. They're not 100% convinced by that. They don't know that for sure. And they went back to look at the handball after they'd given the penalty only because of the United players insisting that the handball had happened. They went and re-reviewed the incident. I'm sure Howard Webb must be watching that, looking at that, going, "This is completely not how we do things." There's like a book of how things are done. This is not in that book anywhere. It was a travesty that it was given. It really was. I think for me, this is when the defeats that you deserved hurt even more. We deserve to lose to Spurs. We deserve to lose to Liverpool. There's been other games, obviously, where we've dropped points, and we've not deserved more out of them. This was probably a little bit closer to the Palace game maybe, but when you look back at those games where you drop points elsewhere, and then you get an unjust defeat, you're gonna get one or two of these unjust defeats a season where a decision it really goes against you, and then the other points you dropped really catch up with you. So I've had a look at our fixtures for the rest of the season, and we've still got, I think, Arsenal and City away, which the way we're playing, you don't expect to get anything out of those. But I was looking and I'm thinking we might be on for, you're looking at this like it's not a bad thing anymore, and it's still a really bad thing. We might be on for 9 or 10 defeats guaranteed this season, and they're looking at games where you possibly expect to, maybe lose the way we've been going. But that's not accounting for games like today, and that's not accounting for those unjust moments. And you like I say, you're probably going to get 1, 2, maybe 3 of those a season where you look back and go, that was harsh. Something really went against us there, as it did today. And that's what Ten Hag's against now for the rest of this season. You're looking at it and going, you're going to have to not just do a lot better than we've done in the first 9 games this season now. You're not just trying to improve upon that. You've also then got to ride out those times where you'll drop, you'll draw games as we've seen against like Palace as well, or you'll lose games as we did today, on top of the games we're expecting to drop points. And you're thinking that top 4 place is looking very, very difficult right now. You'd have to put some consistency together we've not seen. And I think there's been glimmers against, in the last game out in the league against Brentford, in the second half in particular, and today, which suggests that we are capable, and there's something there, we're capable of good performances. I don't know if it's going to come in time for him. I think Ineos are really going to have to, with the next international break comes, especially if we lose to Chelsea, because that's a big one. I think the Chelsea game for Erik ten Hag now. I think from my perspective and what I like to see is if they're going to stick with him, just say he is our manager this season. That is what's happening. Regardless, we are sticking with him. This is a long-term project. If they come out and say nothing, and this keeps building, all that's going to happen is the fans are going to end up getting more on the club and the board's back, because you're just thinking, well, this isn't acceptable. This isn't good enough. Is this really the plan? If it is the plan, come and tell us it's the plan, and then we might not like it, but at least we're going, right, okay, this season's a bit of a write-off. It should never be the case this early in the year, and there's still cups to play for, obviously. But the cup, well, should the cup have been enough to save him last season if we went and won that, the League Cup and the FA Cup or something, and we finish 8th, 9th, 10th again in the league? Is that really enough? Well, no, it's not, unless they tell us it is. Unless they come out and say this is what we're aware that it's still going to take time for us to get to X, Y, or Z. But as I've said before on the show, we didn't give Erik ten Hag a long contract. The opportunity was there to give him 3, 4, 5-year contract, and we didn't do that. So I feel like we're getting mixed messages from the board. They didn't come out in the last international break and say anything. Fair enough if you're not thinking of getting rid of him. But with the time left on his contract, you're not really thinking of keeping him long term. He's still on trial, because we'll get back to the end of this season and we're exactly where we were at the end of last season, and he's got 1 year left. And I don't know if there's another extension agreement put in place when they made the previous extension, because that's what it effectively was. It wasn't a new 1 year deal. It was they extended his previous deal. Are they going to limp through this season and make a change in the summer? But if that's on their minds and they're thinking there's a chance they're going to make a change this summer, if he doesn't finish top 4, maybe you should just make it now. So I feel like they're using the silence to maybe hide their thoughts and intentions, and I don't think that's fair on the fans at the moment. Because like I said, today wasn't a bad performance. No manager's getting sacked off the back of today's performance. But as I was saying before, this can build up. You lose a couple of those games you shouldn't, on top of the games that you should. Anyway, yeah, we'll see how things play out. It was a game we really should have won today. We've said that before this year. Aside from the games we should have lost, the chances were there. We've really got to start scoring goals soon. Today wasn't on the manager, but it is going to still have a longer term impact on him. Chelsea game becomes crucial. Again, there's too many times this season games have been crucial, but the Chelsea game does now, because if you lose the Chelsea game too, then that puts us in an even more vulnerable position in terms of our top 4, even 5 hopes this season. So anyway, let us know what you think. If you like what you hear today, please hit a like or subscribe. I'm sure you don't like hearing about us losing to West Ham. But yeah, there'll be plenty more from me in the future, and we'll be back after. I'm not sure if I'll be back after the Leicester game in the cup, because let's face it, that's a win there is not going to change too much for the fans. It'd be good to see some youngsters. But yeah, please hit the like, hit subscribe, and I will catch up with you. Yeah, I'll catch up with you soon after the next league game, probably. See you later.